Hi, my name is Becca Schrog, and I chose to do my project in race in food deserts. To start, I want to note that there are multiple different definitions for food desert. A nice general one that was given by Dutko et al. 2012 is food deserts are defined as areas with limited access to affordable and healthy food. The USDA has two different definitions for food deserts. The first definition is people that are not within a half mile of a large superstore or grocery market in an urban area and 10 miles in a rural area. Their second definition is people who aren't within 1 mile of a grocery store in an urban area and 20 miles in a rural area. So it's just a more expansive definition. The USDA definition also does not include any stores that have less than $2 million in sales, which excludes a lot of small grocery stores. In my town, we had less than $2 million, but yet we have some of the freshest food and healthiest food in our town. So according to Larson et al., food deserts and low access to fresh products lead to higher percentages of diabetes. So food deserts are more than just access to food, but also that it's a public health issue. And Larson et al. 2009 also notes that lower food access means lower population density, and lower population density can lead to less businesses coming in because our market studies are based on income and how much people are willing to spend and how many people live in a certain area. The management issues for food deserts include food access and availability. So this includes whether or not a family has a vehicle to get to and from a grocery store and whether that store will have the products available. Another management issue is the transportation of food. So as more people gain access to food, food has to be transported farther and longer distances. That increases labor and it increases the carbon footprint of the food. Another issue with this is that for fresh food, which is one of the most important things for health, it needs a longer shelf life. It needs to last longer to make it to the places. And so that is an issue that needs to be addressed. Another management issue is the food types and cost and whether or not they're culturally appropriate. So we need stores to carry food that's appropriate for the community and is available and affordable. An example of this is butter tarts and poutine ingredients for Canada Day. My methods include downloading data from the USDA. I looked at their atlas and then I downloaded the data of food deserts. And that includes multiple different variables, all organized by census tract. And this is based on the 2010 census. I specifically looked at poverty rate and then populations of white and black people in those census tracts. I then used JUMP to do simple distributions, and then I did a simple linear regression with poverty rate and tract black or tract white, so the populations of black and white people. My null hypothesis is that there does not exist correlations between poverty rate and populations of white and black people within food deserts in the United States. And my alternative hypothesis is that there exist correlations between poverty rate and populations of white and black people within food deserts in the United States. So these are the distributions of tract black and tract white in the food deserts. And I just want to point out that the 100% quantiles for tract white is 28,983, and for black it's 16,804. So there are almost twice as many white people living in food deserts than black people, which is not what I expected. This is my simple linear regression. I have poverty rate as the x-axis and then the race along the y-axis. And I just want to point out a few notes here. The correlation coefficient for tract black is 0.33, indicating a weak positive correlation. And for tract white, it is negative 0.34, indicating a weak negative correlation. The slope for tract black is 22.44. So for every additional 1% increase in poverty rate, the predicted population of black people increases by 22.44. And for tract white, the slope is negative 48.06. So for every additional 1% increase in poverty rate, the predicted population of white people decreases by -48. The R-squared value for tracked Black is 0.11. So there's 11% of variability in populations of Black people is explained by poverty rate. And for tracked white, it is 0.12. So 12% of variability in populations of white people is explained by poverty rate. The test statistic is 93.29 and -98.95 for tracked Black and tracked white respectively. And for both, the p-value was less than 0.0001. In conclusion, we reject the null hypothesis because even though R-squared is low, it is higher than 0, and the slope is also non-zero. And we conclude that there exist correlations between poverty rate and populations of white and Black people within food deserts in the United States. Some of the further research and data issues is that the census data is self-reporting, so there are probably quite a few people left out of this data who decided they didn't want to report to the government. The data is also old. It is from 2010, and there has been a new census that hopefully the data will become publicly available soon. I also only looked at 2 races, and I think in the future looking at more and seeing how they correlate with poverty rate is important. In conclusion, I want to note that food deserts are not just a one issue, they are cyclical, and it affects public health. According to Martin et al. 2014, urban areas with lower income have lower quality products, and lower quality products leads to increased stress, which leads to chronic disease, which can lead to higher medical costs and lower employability, which can lead to continued financial strain, which then furthers into food insecurity. So not only are food deserts just an issue, currently they are an issue now and in the future. LeClaire and Axon 2014 noted that the definition for food desert does not include small stores or farmers markets, as I mentioned earlier. And in the future, I would really like to see the inclusion of small stores and farmers markets, since they are some of the freshest produce available. I want to thank Unity College and our professor and my peers for your time. Thank you.